terrorist groups include Tuku Manu, Yusuf Ghazali, and Muhammad Sani, among others. Furthermore, 6 business organizations, including Bureau d'Echange, that's BDCs, operators, and trading firms, were identified for enabling financial transactions linked to terrorism-related activities. Security officials familiar with the investigation confirmed that these designations are part of a broader aggressive push to disrupt the covert financial channels that sustain extremist groups across the Lake Chad Basin and the Northwest. This action marks a significant expansion of Nigeria's counterterrorism architecture, moving beyond military action to direct target financial enablers. The federal government has vowed to continue its investigation into terrorism financing, warning that more names are expected to be released as security agencies intensify the monitoring of financial institutions, BDCs, operations, and cross-border cash movements to cut off the lifeblood of terror. Well, reacting to the spate of insecurity across the nation, Nigerian cleric and activist Tunde Bakare has fiercely criticized the National Assembly for busying itself with politicking while the United States Congress was forced to convey a hearing on Nigeria's worsening insecurity. Speaking during his State of the Nation address in Lagos, Bakare stated that it is an absolute shame that elected Nigerian representatives failed to show initiative, effectively allowing foreign legislators to lead critical discussions on the dire lived experience of Nigerian citizens. Bakare described the comments made by President Donald Trump, who designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, as the most despicable language ever used by a world leader in describing Nigeria. He argued that the Nigerian government's fury of activities only after Trump's remarks exposed the profound earlier lack of urgency. The cleric accused the Nigerian ruling class of burying their heads in the sand like ostriches and being preoccupied with political chaos instead of the real work of governance. The former presidential aspirant lamented that this situation represents Nigeria's most humiliating international public image since the Abacha era, attributing the stain on the government to its refusal to confront deep national problems. Bakare proposed concrete steps to restore trust, including the creation of Victims and Survivors Register and a public apology from President Tinubu within 3 months, arguing that the accountability is essential to rebuilding citizens' confidence. Now, Barrister, how do you react to the position of former presidential aspirant and cleric in the person of Tunde Bakare, saying that Nigeria has never been this discredited in its entire history, as we have witnessed in recent times, especially after being designated as a country of particular concern, and of course the comments that followed by President Donald Trump of the United States of America?
Well, Pastor Tunde Bakare has never missed the point of addressing some of the critical national issues. I really wish we have more clerics who should be more concerned about, addressing this issue right in the pulpit and, more interested in the collection of the revenues or what they do. But having said that, I believe that what is going on in this country is something that should be more concerned because, like I always believe and I know that the issue confronting us as a people is as a result of bad governance and inability for us to do right thing that has now metamorphosed into what we now refer to be a national cause for concern. We shouldn't be concerned again about the language or the terminology used by the United States of America president, because that actually reflects the true picture. But we should rather look at the issue, not the word used by the president of America. And we know so well that this designation of Nigeria as a country of
particular
concern has actually put the government on their toes. You just read out some of the information about the 11 personalities and the entities being linked to terrorism. This is just, a tip of the iceberg, because it's not even less, it's even less than 0.01% of what we are witnessing. I think the government officials, the military, the security agencies should begin to tell themselves the truth first. They must tell themselves the truth before they can come up to tell Nigerians the truth, because they are the one, they are losing their men on a daily basis. There's no reason why they should, shield some of these guys who have turned Nigeria into a battlefield. It's quite unfortunate that we now live in a country where people cannot move freely as a people. People cannot travel, people cannot move from one place to another. Insecurity is quite on the rise. In fact, over the last 1 week, we've seen a couple of even people who are very much closer to us. We see these things happening. What you see in the north is just like a little fraction of what is happening in this country. And we keep repeating it all over that since former President Muhammadu came on board in 2015, the insecurity in this country has risen as a result of allowing his people, the cattle rearers, to move unrestricted across all nooks and crannies of this country. And this has given them the access to have access to all our bushes. And we said that no part of this country is without governance presence, in the sense that every part of this country belongs to a local government, and every local government belongs to a state. So the government must begin to fashion the best approach to govern this country. If you're unable to govern this country, then we should begin to look into another process through which we can govern this country. We cannot continue to live in fear. Tunde Bakare has heard his mind. He has expressed himself the same way other Nigerians are expressing themselves. But one thing that is important in the whole of all this is that we must begin to secure Nigeria. We must direct the policies that can give everybody a sense of belonging, so that at the end of the day, we can begin to see a secured and a prosperous Nigeria.
Now, Grace, are Nigerians not being too critical of President Bola Tinubu, considering the fact that he has declared a state of emergency in Nigeria's security architecture? And unlike in the past, we've seen accelerated rates of decimation, if I might use that word, of criminal elements, whether in the names of bandits, whether in the name of terrorists, whether in the name of kidnapping. And almost on a daily basis, we are seeing reports suggesting that to some level, we are seeing some success in the fight against this hydra-headed problem called insecurity. So are we not being too critical of President Tinubu's administration?
No, the thing is that lawmakers, they should, how will I even put it? They should stop holding meetings and giving speeches when Nigerians are being killed, when Nigerians are being kidnapped. Their job is to make laws, demand accountability, and push for real reforms, not sitting comfortably in Abuja or sitting comfortably in their office. So if the insecurity that is happening today is getting worse day by day, then the National Assembly has failed on its own oversight role. So, Tunde Bakare, he's very right.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we return, we will bring you the story of how the Sultan of Sokoto plans traditional turbaning honor for Nnamdi Kanu, how Governor Chioma Oti of Abia State is urging Nnamdi Kanu to remain calm amid release efforts, and how Nigeria is targeting 2026 for local HIV drug production. Do stay with us and keep sharing the stream.
Welcome to LJE Studio, where creativity meets production excellence. Whether you're shooting a podcast, hosting a live stream, recording interviews, or bringing your next big idea to life, we've built the perfect space for you. Everything you need to create premium content is right here. Come record, come create, come be inspired. Visit www.ljenigeria.org/LJE-studio or call 0705-245-3714 to book your session today.
Thanks for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, this is Trends with LJE. Now, in a stunning and symbolic development, the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, is set to receive a traditional turban in honor from the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammadu Sa'ad Abubakar III. This unexpected news was disclosed by Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Chioma-Oti following his visit to Kanu at the Sokoto Correctional Center. Now, Governor Oti stated that the Sultan demonstrated strong support for efforts aimed at securing Kanu's release and promoting national unity and peaceful coexistence. During the visit, Governor Oti shared a lighter moment with Kanu, relaying the Sultan's remark, and I quote, "On a lighter note, the Sultan of Sokoto told me that you are now his subject and he was going to turban you." The IPOB leader reportedly reacted with hearty laughter to this highly uncommon movement of relief amidst his long legal challenges. The proposed turbaning ceremony, a major cultural tradition in northern Nigeria, is being widely interpreted by analysts as a powerful symbolic gesture towards national reconciliation. The move coming from one of the country's most respected traditional and religious figures. Now, this could serve as a significant act of bridge building between the northern and southern eastern regions, potentially paving the way for further de-escalation of political and ideological tensions across the country. Now, Barrister, how do you react to this? I mean, Nnamdi Kanu soon to be turbaned and given a northern traditional title.
I actually think this is more like it's coming to me as a comic information, because this is someone that I've been sentenced to
life imprisonment.
And so at what point is he going to carry out such ceremony? He's going to be out, or is it after the term, serving the term in the prison? But however, I think all conversations should lead towards a political solution to the Nnamdi Kanu's imprisonment, because we know that this act of life imprisonment, the court has given its judgment, and there is also a process to file an appeal. And definitely we'll look forward to what the appeal court will decide. But I believe it will be difficult for the Sultan of Sokoto, to carry out any ceremony on someone who is currently serving a jail term.
But Dr. Alex Osi seems to be confident that Nnamdi Kanu will be released. And I mean, he has continually said that process of trying to gain his release is ongoing. Of course, we've also heard where it's been suggested that
the process to get his release is through court of appeal.
There are suggestions. Even the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives said that a political solution is still very much on the table.
Yeah, a political solution is very much on the table. Don't forget, the procedure, the administration of criminal justice procedure requires that if it was at the time of the trial court, the president can, through the Attorney General, can discontinue over the prosecution. But having served the judgment of the court, at the level of the Court of Appeal, nothing can be done in terms of the nollie prosecute opportunity which he had during the trial court. So, because at the level of the Court of Appeal, you cannot do anything. So, but if one other political solution that can be available is if Nnamdi Kanu choose not to, if there is a political arrangement to say, okay, it is most likely it can be granted pardon. So in such a case, there will not be need to go into the Court of Appeal to appeal on this matter. But once you go into the Court of Appeal, no, the prosecute is no longer possible, right? So, but regarding the information given by the governor, I believe that Governor Alex Oti, is doing his best and trying to see how he can secure his release. Unfortunately, he do not really have the complete ear of Mr. President. I will say that because we also look at the political communication, whether they belong to the same camp.
Yeah,
you cannot have someone who is like the current governor of Abia State, he may not have the access to be able to present such a matter properly when you also have critical stakeholders from the Southeast who are members and friends to the president. Those ones will really have more opportunity to discuss with Mr. President. And I know Mr. President is very much aware about this case. He's very much informed about it, but unfortunately, Nigeria is playing, every decision they take is more about a political calculation. It's quite unfortunate that we find ourselves in this situation. I would have really preferred a situation whereby Nnamdi Kanu is freed, unconditionally, or at least with the condition that he should be able to maintain peace within the system. I'm more concerned about the issue of justice surrounding his case. A lot of people have tried to compare his sentences with that of other bandits and people who are killing Nigerians. This is what we see on a daily basis in our country. When you go to the police stations, when you go to the different agencies of government that are responsible for the administration and implementation of our laws, they are more concerned about the ones that has to do with financial transaction and the petty ones. But whereas people are killing Nigerians, and those ones, because no one is going to mobilize them, there is no direct complainant that would mobilize them to the bushes. And that is why you see that this effort are not being really put. And Nigerians are trying to put these things side by side to say, okay, if Nnamdi Kanu, who you allege has committed a treasonable offense with the use of microphone or giving instructions, I do not support that kind of instruction, but I believe that political solution is still very much possible. But like I said, political solution can be possible at this time in the case of pardon. And that can be possible when appeal is not made.
All right, moving ahead, still staying with developments from Abia State, where Dr. Alex Oti has personally urged Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to remain calm and resolute, assuring the detained IPOB leader that efforts to secure his release have been intensified. The governor made the appeal during a visit to Kanu at the Sokoto Correctional Center, where he was accompanied by the state's Attorney General, Kanu's younger brother, and senior Sokoto state government officials. Governor Oti informed Kanu that the process he initiated over 2 years ago towards resolving the matter had been heightened despite recent developments. He confidently told the IPOB leader that the issue will be resolved administratively and that he would eventually regain his freedom. Oti also expressed satisfaction that the Sultan of Sokoto shares his position on the importance of Kanu's release for the broader de-escalation of regional tension. The Abia State government noted that Kanu was all smiles during the meeting and expressed profound gratitude to Governor Oti for the renewed efforts. Kanu reportedly stated that his primary interest remains good governance and the well-being of the people. The visit underscores the political push now underway to secure Kanu's release following his life sentence, with the focus shifting from the legal battle to a potential administrative or political resolution. Now, away from the IPOB leaders and developments around him to something of more interest, where Nigeria is intensely focused on achieving a major breakthrough in public health by aiming to begin manufacturing its own antiretroviral ARV drugs by 2026. Now, this ambitious national target was revealed by Dr. Uluaku Emma Akagbu, Director General of the Abia State Agency for the Control of HIV/AIDS, while marking the 2025 World AIDS Day. Now, the push for local production is driven by the reality of dwindling donor funding and global economic challenges that have created disruptions in HIV financing, such as the panic caused by the freeze on U.S. PREPFAR funds earlier in the year. Although PREPFAR has maintained an uninterrupted supply of drugs, the government recognizes the urgent need to strengthen domestic funding mechanisms and achieve self-reliance to sustain the nation's test and treat protocol. Dr. Emma Ukagu confirmed that Nigeria had already engaged local pharmaceutical companies to commence ARV production. This SWIFT is part of a multi-pronged strategy that includes strengthening prevention, treatment, and care, and advancing innovations like PrEP and PEP, which she emphasized With the newly passed anti-stigma law in Abia and a commitment to testing, HIV is now a manageable chronic condition, urging citizens to know their status and help sustain the gains made in reducing the burden of the disease. Gracie, Nigeria deciding to begin to manufacture its own HIV drugs. Is this supposed to spur confidence in Nigerians who are currently living with HIV?
I would say it's a good idea if truly they can do it, because we are in Nigeria. If truly they can do it, it will cut costs in Nigeria, and it will reduce the dependence on foreign suppliers.
Yeah.
Yes, but the problem now is that let it not sound good on papers. Will they really implement it? Is it possible that they can do it in Nigeria? So that is the question.
That's the big question. Barrister, how do you react to the fact that Nigeria is beginning to push the Made in Nigeria agenda, which is one of the key cardinals of the Tinubu-led administration?
Well, I think this information is coming from a state government, Ministry of Health. I don't enjoy listening to any government who has stayed a year plus, and when they come up with, we will or we want to, we want to see we have done this, we have done,
and this is how far we've gone.
This is how far we've gone. So let us look at so that they don't end up just giving us conversations to continue to have, but let us have evidence of what they have done to say, okay, this is what they are doing in regard to this. But quite interesting, Nigeria has gotten to that level where we should be able to have this kind of manufacturing of this kind of drugs. We believe we have the science, we believe we have the ability to do so, and we have the competence to do so if we really want to do. But I don't believe so much from anything that comes to Nigerian government. When they want to douse tensions, they just come up with something and say they're about to do something, which in the long run, you would
nothing really happens. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Trends with LJE. My sincere thanks to Barrister Samuel and, of course, Gracie. Thank you so much for your brilliant contributions on the show.
Thank you very much.
Now, don't forget to follow, like, and share at LJE Nigeria on all social media platforms to join the conversation and get updates on our next show. I am John Nkamiak. Bye for now.